The number of modern slaves rescued here in the East Midlands has more than doubled in a single year. The police and charities helped 87 suspected victims between January and June.
Some of them were living in suburban streets and producing everyday goods we buy in the shops. But a new law's prompted a string of major investigations and prosecutions. Our social affairs correspondent Jeremy Ball reports.
I feel like I lost everything.
A rare interview with a victim of modern slavery.
Why they are treating me like that?
Maria told me how she was employed as a maid and trapped without her passport, then forced to work night and day without being paid or fed properly. Here in Nottingham, the police have been checking car washes for victims, and now the Derbyshire force has a full-time team that's looking for exploited workers.
We're going to car washers, to nail bars, looking for indicators, are the people that are withdrawn. It's about stronger people victimising vulnerable people. And it's frightening to realise that it's going on under our noses.
And last month, another 10 suspected victims were rescued in Derby as the police raided several homes. They're supported by charities like the Red Cross, who provide food, clothes and toiletries and then take the victims to stay somewhere safe. It's known as the National Referral Mechanism. Across our 4 police force areas, the number of those referrals has doubled this year. 87 suspected modern slavery victims were rescued between January and June. That compares with fewer than 40 in each of the previous 6-month periods. The numbers have risen so sharply because modern slavery has become a policing priority. Victims are often trapped by threats and debts, but hidden in plain sight, living in our communities, working in local factories, producing food, even clothes that you and I buy on the high street. 3 high-profile court cases revealed how modern slaves were supplied to Sports Direct in Shirebrook. The company paid their wages through legitimate employment agencies who didn't know those workers were being controlled by criminals. Criminals like Darius and Bozina Parchevsky, who kept several victims in their Nottingham garden. The men were found living in appalling conditions in these freezing, cramped caravans without running water. And last week, another man called Casma Columpar admitted holding 2 people on this street in Leicester. It's the first successful modern slavery prosecution by Leicestershire Police.
It's as serious as it gets. It's the exploitation of vulnerable people over a period of months. Threats of violence, forced violence, working long hours for nothing. It was manual labour, whatever work was available, building work, that sort of thing. So it was manual cash in hand type work, but they never got to see any of that.
Now Maria's been given a new start with help from the Salvation Army. Last year they supported more than 60 victims who were rescued here in the East Midlands. But the police think the people they're finding are just the tip of the iceberg.
And Jeremy's joined us in the studio. So why is modern slavery becoming such a focus, really, for the police?
Well, it's largely prompted by Theresa May, who made this a big priority when she was Home Secretary, and that led to a tough new law called the Modern Slavery Act. And what that's done is transformed the way that the police deal with foreign nationals in particular, because criminals used to control them by taking their passports away. The idea is they wouldn't go to the police because they might have been arrested for an immigration offence. What tends to happen now, though, is they're treated as victims of organised crime instead, and that's really helping the authorities focus on the real villains, the gangs who exploit them.
And a lot of the work to tackle this is happening here in the East Midlands.
Yeah, first of all, there's a new national investigation team that's been set up in Nottingham. That's being run by the Gangmasters and Labour Abuse Authority. That's looking at a raft of industries, from hotels and construction right through to nail bars. There's also a lot of work going on in churches in this region too, and particularly the Bishop of Derby has played a leading role in the Church of England. In fact, I'm told that his Derby diocese has actually bought a safe house for victims of modern slavery who've been rescued.
OK, Jeremy Ball, thank you.